speaker, Ms. Leslie, on how to build AI products and be responsible. You can start. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Big greeting and hugs from Bolivia. Yes, now I can share my screen. Yeah, hope you can see it now. Cool.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. So I hope you're enjoying today DevFest. I think it's a great opportunity to get to know more developers and get to know more about different projects and things on technology. As I mentioned, my name is Leslie. I'm actually a telecommunications engineer. I did a master's in computer science in Europe, and I'm working now in innovation projects for the city, as well as a professor at university teaching about data analytics and machine learning. And also I'm a Google developer expert in machine learning from the Global Network Machine Learning. And you can find me on social media as Leslie Sandra. And today I'm going to talk a bit about building products based on power with artificial intelligence and why it's important to be responsible. A little bit more about myself. I wanted to share. I've been testing this stable diffusion. This is a notebook on Google. It's Google Colab. And it's really interesting how you can actually sort of use this code with Python, TensorFlow. What you need to do is actually set your own pictures so you can train the algorithm to understand your face and then to create some art based on that. So I've been playing on that, training on my own pictures, and then trying to set to the model, train it like some Pixar style, some executive style, some virtual reality, fantasy, cartoon, anything. So this is really, really nice where you can train. Oh yeah, this is in Spanish. There is a guy who organized this collab, which is using Dreambot. Is using Dreambot and oh, I don't know why it's like, okay. It's using Dreambot and some other, well, TensorFlow and Hugging Face, which is super important as well. But it's interesting how you can start using AI, building this interesting stuff about art, about voice, about images, and everything that AI can do today. But the question is how you're going to use it for good, or how you're going to use it that won't damage other people, right? And maybe you have heard about DALL-E and Dreambot that I was showing before. It's interesting these last years. AI has been playing a lot with art. And it's not only that AI is doing the art itself, but also there are people building all these concepts. For example, this dog with sunglasses, drinking coffee on a mountain, because actually the algorithm trained know what a dog is, what a mountain is, what is the sunglasses, but we are giving all these points about putting all together so it can actually join it and show us how is it going. So it's really interesting. And also if you check Lexica, it's a place where you can find all this sort of art, and actually you can find the prompt or this text that you can use with DALL-E or Dreambot. It helps you to reproduce this kind of art with your own pictures or with the pictures you want to show. As well as Dreambot here is like what are the input images, and then how you yourself are imagining what you want to put in different parts, right? So again, this is super cool and super interesting, and you don't need much coding or specific knowledge on an algorithm to work with this. Actually, DALL-E and other things like that have already websites and APIs, and with few lines of code, as the other one I was showing, you can also actually create your own. But the good thing, but the thing you need to think actually is how we're going to use it for good, right? And going a bit more to other applications about AI, it's really interesting what we can have today, since voice recognition, since face recognition, that is not only realizing what if it's a face or not, but also you can see here what the gender is, age group, ethnicity, so. And also with the language, we can play or have now this kind of service about translation, and is getting better with the years. And also we have another algorithms that are actually tracking like the body pose, voice recognition, where you can have a virtual assistant and you can talk to it and well have this and actually have this sort of voice commands directly or kind of conversations on there. So this is super cool, and this is what AI can do today and what we can actually apply to our different projects we want to work on. But it's always good to think like what could be wrong, or how can we help to avoid difficult issues like data, personal data, if it's going to be like leaked to somebody, to some company or so, or something like that. Racism, if you're doing like face recognition, it should recognize all kind of faces, voices and languages, and so that's why it's important to talk now how to be responsible when we're building these different AI powered projects. And just one more, AI is well, trying for so many years to imitate what in human intelligence is, right? Since trying to understand, learning, speaking, watching, understanding what you're watching, and we're trying to transfer that knowledge, that intelligence, and build it as well from different software, computers, machines. That's how we can have also the kind of applications of today. And AI can be used everywhere, not only on technology. On my own field as telecommunications, we have been using some sort of prediction and clustering with data. When we have, for example, data from mobile consumption and trying to predict related to mobile communications, internet mobile, and so on. But also we can see AI on cars, the self-driving cars, on cities, on robotics, industry, electric energy, e-commerce, domotic, everything that we want to keep building today. And as I mentioned, it's not really something new from these last years. It has like quite a long story. And it's interesting that we can refer to AI as first talk or mentioned back in 1950s in a conference where some professor, some researcher mentioned about artificial intelligence. And there it goes like everyone got an excitement to make machines intelligent as the intelligence they understood by the time. And then understanding intelligence is also about learning. We have here the machine learning, which is going more into data, which is going on different techniques and algorithms that are going to learn without being explicit programmed, which is like the main concept or idea of machine learning. And among all these different techniques, we can find deep learning, and deep learning is very related to this sort of learning focus on artificial neural networks that is giving us today what we have on visual and computer vision, language processing, and so on. And it's interesting through this time as well that things have gone like up, have gone down on the research and so on. And it's interesting to think as well about data. And I like to think how was data back in 1950s, 1960s? Where was data? And now it's interesting that we have data today and we have all these digital means and we can build all these data warehouses and we can have all this big data. And think about like how this data today is making our algorithms smarter and now how we can use it as powered by AI. Another point is about the computing processing, computing power. Also imagine the computers back then in 50s, 60s, who could use the computers. Now, as I showed you before, I have this collab on Google, and I can use a GPU, basically a graphic processor unit, and I can use all this power of computer to train images and so on. So another good point to understand how today we can have all these AI projects. And data and power computing, also think about the knowledge. It's interesting to think as well, like before, getting to learn all these techniques, getting to the practice and so on through universities or big companies doing research. But now it's good we have these tech communities and we can keep learning and we can get all this curiosity about how this works, how is it working, which tools can we start working with. You can have like these first steps actually. And about data, as I mentioned, maybe you have heard data scientist is like the most interesting job, like 21st century, and also how data is becoming the oil, the golden, because data is going to tell us how a company is doing and to understand if it's doing what we want, if it's going where we want, and all this information. And also this is powering what we have on AI products and AI projects, right? And that's why also it said that AI is the new electricity. And I like to think about how was life, the world, education, jobs, and everything before electricity, and how getting electricity to our houses, work companies, and so is that today we have more interesting advances in technology and so. But as electricity entered everyone's life to change and to create more stuff and to absorb more other stuff, it might be the same with AI. So it's really important that everyone can understand about it, can learn about the foundations and the basics to understand how is data collecting. Of course, also learning what are the threats and how we can be responsible while building our AI products. Another cool example that I should mark in the timeline is about 2016. Maybe you have heard about AlphaGo. If not, I would recommend you to go to YouTube. There is a documentary about AlphaGo. Actually, this idea goes to how to teach a machine how to play this game. I don't know if anyone actually knows how to play Go. Go is a board game very related to Asia, as I know. I've been trying to learn and understand more about Go. I like it. It's interesting. It's hard though. And it's cool that there was a team called DeepMind and they start working to train this algorithm to learn how to play Go, but at the same time, how to win Go. And then Google acquired DeepMind. That's why it's Google DeepMind. The documentary is interesting. They show a little bit how this process of training, understanding goes a little bit, and then how they go to South Korea, if I'm not wrong, to play with one of the best players of Go. As you can see in the picture, it's really tough that the best player is having some difficult time trying to win this game. What for me was really interesting as well is like how AI is going to impact society. And it says like, since that time, like everyone is eager to learn about artificial intelligence. Everyone wants to understand how it works, what it can do. Why is learning to play and win Go, such game as Go? Yeah, as you see, the news also says like the machines actually get to win as well to these one best players. Yeah, how actually AI is going to change our lives as well. This race is also interesting. Like in one of the matches, I think there are 5 matches. It's like it's not a human move. I've never seen a human play this move. Yeah, this is interesting because there is this processing with all the possibilities, like where you can move and what the outcome would be and what you can do later, and all this processing, which are actually making this machine to take moves that maybe not other players have done before because of this processing and stuff. But well, good news there, some bad news here. Maybe you have heard about this kind of scandal and problems and issues with these AI products that actually show that, again, we need to think about the the final user, and also how it's going to affect all the society and so on. Here are 2 examples of many. One is related to an AI recruitment system in Amazon, and it's interesting. Imagine such a big company, and you want some sort of automation when having like the new employees and the human resources. Just imagine that you receive like hundreds of thousands of applications, you want a sort of filter, like the possible best that you can follow and interview and so on. And there you're using machine trained to choose, like this CV might be good that we can interview and so on. Yes, this one, no. System has been trained with many years of data from the people they used to hire. But one day they realized that most of the people that passed this filter were mostly men. Yeah, they were like, so why women are not applying, or what's happening? And then they realized that the system was actually selecting the features what would do a good employee. Well, it was including to be men. So there was like, this is racism and this is not working, and why you are optimizing like that. Of course, they had to think about the data itself. They have it, the feature they were using to train the model. Yeah, try to do it differently. And another one, as you see in the picture, imagine you are using your Google Photos or some gallery on your pictures, and you get by a smart algorithm, like to be a cluster group by skyscrapers, airplanes, cars, bikes, as you see there. And when you see the section gorillas, you sort of see your selfie, because you have dark skin. And of course, it was such an issue because why is this happening? And then they kind of realized most of the face recognition algorithms were training with images of faces, like skin color is clear, right? So this happens again when we, and I mean, from this, they start creating these sort of recommendations where we work on to have lots of diversity on data. So black, yellow, dark. So to have the algorithm to do their task, but to do it well with all the cases. And that's why I want to talk a little bit about the recommendations, because as I mentioned, it has also an impact on society. And we want that people feel comfortable using technology, using these AI projects and products, to feel them more helpful than harmful, right? And that's why here also, when we talk about responsible AI, we need to think about the social and technical aspects of the design of an AI product. And when we think about how these systems are built more onto the technical side, we're thinking about development. And when we talk about the output this product is going to deliver, we're thinking about the usability and how the final user is going to like it, right? And yes, sorry, I think my cat's going to turn off the internet. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry, I was checking that. I don't want to run out of internet now. So it's interesting that today, when we think about user experiences, we need to have this knowledge about design the product. When we talk about AI, as well, when we talk about chatbots and everything that can be power. Here I have like a long list. I'm not gonna through all of this. I'm going to share the slide where actually you can take these actions to reduce these issues, this bias, doing some data collection, doing checking about the labels and so on. But I do want to go through this slide that is showing some pipeline about machine learning, that it goes from the kind of very first step about data and models to the final user. And if you can see, even in each step, you can find some sort of human bias. It goes, for example, that I'm not that into cars, for example, and I want to build a model that can classify different cars or recommend cars. So I would collect images of cars as far as I know, as far as I can research. But if I myself do this, I'm adding some extra bias about what this model should do, right? Or what should we have there? And that's why at the end of this pipeline, we see that there was some issue there. It's not working as expected, like the outcome in reality. And not only with data, but also it can go to the model itself. I'm using a machine learning technique for classification, for regression, for clustering. Which tools I'm using? I'm using an external framework. I'm building myself all the code. So again, how is it going to gather some bias? And when putting on production, it can go saying which platform I'm gonna use. And also when the final user is going to use it, there might be some effect, and also related to bias, they can say like, this is working or this is not working, anything. As you can see, there's gonna be always some sort of human bias. And even though it's hard to make this human bias zero, we should try to make it very, very small. That should not really impact this big on society, as examples I showed before. So just going through this pipeline, we go from collecting data from the project we want to work on, labeling, because mostly we use machine learning supervised, and we need labels for each images or each data. And that's why we can have some sort of human bias there as well. And then we are going specifically to the training model, and there we have to select which technique. We have to set and tune in some hyperparameters, and maybe try to use more than one technique, and then testing, and then checking if it's secure or not, and then go to production and to the user. And it goes again and again, because we're trying to improve and to make it less biased on this side, right? And that's why, just going to the last part of the presentation, there are some recommendations. Many companies, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, they are actually creating this site of research about AI and how to make it inclusive and how to make it more fair and how to make it useful for everyone. And actually, I think AI is a great opportunity to create our own products, to help our own cities, and yeah, to get this knowledge to build our own products. Google, for example, has here this section, People plus AI Research. It's really cool. They go through different content about how everyone should be included in this AI product design. Artists, researchers, managers. And recently, I've been doing some training to middle managers from a company in South America, talking about what is AI, how it works, what are the threats, what are the opportunities, and how they should actually understand about what the world is in AI. Then they have to decide some strategies and some priorities. So there are people more technical, the one that are doing research on building the coding, they should follow what they are doing and actually to create these ideas, these products, these services as a team, right? I want to mention here the same AI guidebook. That is, well, this is the research, the team in at all. We have here some sort of guidebook. It's going to help to find some, there we go, chapters. To some recommendations, templates where you can actually think about the AI product you want to build and what other considerations you should have, as user needs, data collection, mental models, explainability, feedback, graceful failure, how to make it, if your model is going to fail, how you should deliver this fail in order to don't lose trust, but also to gain knowledge to make it better next time. So this is a super good resource. And also there are other resources talking about being responsible AI, trying to create this global policy framework. But also want to show here what we have on TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a framework from Google that is going to help us create neural networks, artificial neural networks. And if you go to resources, to this human-centered AI, it's also going from the idea, we have this idea to create this product, but we also have to think, design thinking maybe, to think how it's going to impact the user, how it's going to bring value overall, yeah, how we should follow some guidelines. Here you can find some responsible AI practices, the people plus AI research I mentioned before, and of course some sort of fairness to the machine learning module. So important stuff to consider when we are thinking about creating this product and so. One of my favorite tech talks I want to share is this one with Kei-Fu Lee. He's been one of outstanding persons of AI. The tech talk is called AI Superpowers, if you want to check it. It's super cool because he's also explaining his point of view through all this time of working in research and doing AI, how AI should help us to have more time for being humans and more time for developing another skills and stuff. Yeah, besides these superpowers, US and China, it's a really interesting TED Talk. Some references I would like to recommend. If you want to get started on machine learning and to understand a bit about the techniques and also some tools such as Scikit-Learn, Keras, and TensorFlow frameworks to use it, I really recommend this book from O'Reilly, Hands-on Machine Learning with Scikit-learn, Keras, and TensorFlow, from a fellow GDE, Aurelio and Jerome. Also, if you are new to this technology, you're wondering what to start learning or using, it's always welcome Python. Python will help you to work with Scikit-learn, TensorFlow. Of course, if you use JavaScript, also you can do some TensorFlow. But Python, I think, is really cool if you are learning also how to code. But there is also this book from O'Reilly, Python Data Science Handbook. So you kind of learn how Python works, same time learning how to use it for data. And one online course I would like to recommend is this one in Coursera, which is called AI for Everyone. And it's really cool. It's not too long, and you get to learn what AI is, what it can do, what it cannot, the impact and everything. You can actually audit the class for free. If you want the certificate, but you have to pay like for the whole tests and in this course. But I think there are also financial help that you can ask, so you can have it also with a certificate for free. And yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about this big topic, to share in this DevFest, hoping that you get interested in AI. How is AI shaping our future? How we can be part of this shaping of future? And also all the good things and bad things that can happen with AI, and how we should try to make it better for everyone, so that everyone can use AI and can benefit from the products. And again, here is I'm on social media as Leslie Sandra, and I'm super happy to join this DevFest. Thank you for the invite. Yeah, that was all.
Thank you, Ms. Leslie, for this amazing and very interesting presentation. It was very informative, and we were so happy to have you here. Please, all of you have any questions, type them in the chat.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation.